Hey guys, before the episode, I want to apologize to the audio listeners because we forgot to say the name of the email. So the email is flamesidepod@gmail.com, all one word, flamesidepod@gmail.com. Sorry about that, audio listeners, but send them in and enjoy the show.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the first edition of the Flameside podcast. I'm your host, Flame. My other host, you can introduce yourself, actually. Go ahead.
Hello guys, I am Vince, otherwise known as Side. Very excited to get into this, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, what were you going
No,
to say?
yeah. No, definitely. So, yeah, we've been looking forward to this for a long time, and we're really excited to explain to everybody kind of, how the world works, how life works, a lot of things, people may think they have a good understanding of things like hoops, things like culture, things like whatever. We're here to kind of remind you about what's based, what's real.
Yeah,
So
we're going to be covering the most interesting topics, guys, in basketball, sports, gaming. What's going on in the media? You guys will hear
mhm,
that from us firsthand.
yeah.
Um,
And that's another thing is not only what's going on in the media, but what's going on these days in the media, you can't trust it. So we're trying to replace media entirely a little bit as well. So
yeah, and
yes.
we'll do that with the use of rankings, games, trends,
Mhm.
predictions. And right there, big on the screen, guys. Email into the pod. We want that to be the focal point
Email
of this
into the pod.
podcast. You just have to email into the pod,
Email
guys.
us.
We want to hear what you have to say. Um,
Email us.
Other than that, some other things you can expect is a Himothy of the week every single week. Every single
Email
week
us.
somebody is a Himothy. Um, so we'll let you guys know who that is every single week. We have a few contenders already. I guess we won't get into that yet, guys, but
Yeah. No, I like that. That's a good way to build tension. I think, a big thing about us specifically in this podcast, what makes it so special is that, we're just two white guys who started a podcast, but we have a dynamic, tantalizing personality situation here, We're a bit different than your usual podcasters, don't you think?
oh, I would certainly say so, Shane.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm the
Who?
one of this duo here that is not as analytical. And I'm super into the drama. I'm into the narratives. I'm infatuated with players. Most of my knowledge is coming from social media, TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really the analytical type, whereas my co-host here is very much so in that realm.
Yeah, I'm very by the book. That doesn't include Devin Booker, obviously, but I am by the book. And we're going to be talking about some things that might trigger some people, like the numbers, and we'll see how that goes. I do think it's interesting though, because you talk about how on the more numbers focused one, you're more vibes. I think that kind of switches a little bit when it comes to like preparation for this podcast. I think it's kind of fun that you did a lot of the legwork for this. I think we can all acknowledge that on the podcast. That's all right. And I didn't do. I'm not as well prepared, but I think you will find this interesting. I do have some curveballs for you planned, so
Oh
don't
yes.
don't think that I didn't come here without a little bit of a plan for you. Really, side.
You see, I just need to make things achievable, and I have to make it kind of realistic before I really get into something like that. So I did write out a whole bunch of stuff. I did a bunch of the art, but I just kind of needed a spark in my life, I guess you could say. So I
Mm.
hope you guys do enjoy the cover art and the branding. Also, one of my good roommates, or my one of my two roommates, made the music for us. He did the intros and the outros, so we very much are grateful to him for that. Um,
For real, for real.
we'll also likely be involving other people. If one of us can't make it, we'll probably incorporate a lot of interviews and things like things along those lines.
Yeah, once we get pretty big with this whole thing.
Yeah, once we're bigger than
Once
JJ and Braun and Kenny Beecham and the goats of this
Is it
whole
just
thing.
lately? Why are there so many new NBA podcasts? I feel like every day. Am
Yeah.
I and am I out of my mind with that, or is it like I saw on Twitter today? It's like, oh, on Michael Porter Jr.'s podcast, and it's like,
Yeah,
bro.
It seems
What?
like every NBA player is getting into the media side of this thing. You got Bron is the most recent. There's a KD podcast. There's a, if you really feel like you can go listen to Jeff Teague's podcast if you
Oh
guys
hell
are
no.
really interested in that. Draymond, obviously, Draymond kicked somebody in the nuts and then he's talking about it on his podcast like a few hours after the game. So
Have you seen
unfortunately, yeah,
Have you
what?
seen the Brunson Hart podcast?
Oh yeah, and now there's the Brunson Hart
That one's
podcast
funny. That one's
interviewing
funny.
Hartenstein. I mean, is
That
it
interview was so funny, bro. Talking about being bright skinned. I'm sorry. What are you talking about,
is it a
dude?
little bit crazy that Hartenstein is black? I mean, I don't really know what I'm
That's
supposed to take from that.
that's not a
Um,
thing. I'm sorry, that's not a thing. I'm gonna leave. We're not gonna dive too deep into this in the first podcast. Let's keep it nice and calm. That's not a thing.
yeah, we'll
Anyway,
have plenty of time to talk about who's black and who's not in
he's
future
not.
episodes.
He's not.
But yeah, like we said, guys, we're doing a lot of games and trends and predictions on here. Eventually, we'll get into like tier lists and stuff. We'll have it on the screen for you guys. Bear with us, honestly, through these first few episodes. It's all a work in progress. As time goes on, we'll only get better at this. So, just ask for your grace in that regard. Um, I guess let's get into something else here.
Yeah, ask for your grace and like make sure to email us as well. Your grace is probably not enough to make this thing go. We need some emails to read. It's gonna be a big thing.
All right. Well, I say, with all of that out of the way, the introductory stuff, I say we get into some sort of topic here. We are going to be very NBA forward on this podcast. That doesn't mean you won't hear about Otani gambling or Justin Fields to the Steelers. You'll hear about that kind of stuff every once in a while.
You're not
But
gonna
we are
name
going
drop
to
the
be,
Flyers.
the Flyers. We can make a whole another podcast just about the Flyers with all this shit that's happened to them this season. But
Mm-hmm.
we're going to be very basketball centric here, guys. So I think no better way to start this off than we both go over some of our favorite moments of the season so far, because we are coming in a little bit late, like right before playoffs. So for me, I'll start off if that's okay with you.
Sure.
One of my favorite moments of the season so far is the Joel 70 piece. I am a Sixers fan, and I got to watch this the whole game, and it was my favorite moment of the season by far so far, other than him maybe returning just last night.
Mm.
Um,
Well, I actually might have a gripe with you about that.
about Joel 70,
Is that a moment or is that a game? Doesn't really seem like a moment to me. I guess when he hit 70, it's a moment, but like, you know.
I guess the whole spectacle of it I'm considering as a moment for me because it was just a whole thing. I was on the couch. My roommates were trying to change the channel on me, and I was like, guys, you don't understand. You don't understand. But I have some
Also,
other ones.
didn't that lead to his injury too, or is that just people saying stuff?
The injury was probably next week. But the thing is with Joel is he gets hurt. He's not really the most durable player. Like I'm pretty sure he's missed 10 plus games in like every season. Totally not. That could be way off. But I'm pretty sure he's never played well, I know for sure he's never played a full season, and I think he's missed 10 plus in every single season he's ever played. So he
He
gets
he
hurt.
he seemed okay last night. I don't know if you caught any of that Sixers Thunder game, but I sure did.
Yeah,
He looked
Sixers
all right.
Thunder. I was tuned into that, and my favorite moment of the game was Isaiah Joe, a former Sixer who we should not have let go, but
He
had
was a
two.
Sixer.
He was a Sixer. That not a lot of people know about that. But Isaiah Joe had two wide open looks to tie the game at the
Oh,
very end, wide open, nobody in his face at all. Air ball on the first, long on the second. I was very happy about that.
bro, nobody on the Sixers could get a damn board. Like
Uh,
he's chucking up air balls and somehow Giddy's like hitting it off people. Like, why is Giddy getting bored, getting scrappy, bro? Like, shove
oh,
Giddy out of the way, man. But
yeah, you never want to see Getty given your team fits because
no, it's Giddy, bro.
he's just. But I must say, he has been on a tear, so you got to give him some respect there.
Mm,
I read some other ones on here for favorite moments of the season, but these are kind of my joke favorite moments of the season.
uh-huh.
Aaron Gordon getting bit by a dog and missing a game for it. I
I
thought
like
that was
barely
kind of
remember
fun.
that. He got bit by a dog and
Aaron
missed the
Gordon
game.
bit by a dog, missed a game, had like cuts and stuff.
Damn.
Another one in that realm,
Hold
I
up, hold
guess.
up, hold up, hold up. Can we talk about that really quick? Because I've always thought about dog attacks. Because
Uh
like
huh.
I'm a pretty big animal guy. Like I like dogs,
Yeah, yeah.
and I know what happens. And selective bias. It hasn't ever happened to me. But if you just like if you keep it 100 with the dog, is it really gonna fuck you up that bad? Like like if you're just keeping it chill, is it really gonna get that angry at you? I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like the meanest dogs I've ever met, I was never even concerned that I was gonna be bitten by that dog. Um, that whole story is just so interesting to me. Like, how did Aaron Gordon get bit up by a dog so bad that he couldn't play an NBA
I
game?
don't know.
So that
Maybe
one's
like cut up on the
fascinating to
hand or
me.
something. But yeah, it's like also he's so large and massive. Like there's no way a dog was like thinking it through. Like, oh, I'm gonna like kill this guy. Like I get it, it's a fucking dog, but like still, I feel like most of the time animals are like working in self defense, right? I don't know. Maybe he like grabbed a bone or something, but I don't
um,
know. It's crazy.
Another favorite moment of mine that's kind of in the same vein of that is DeAndre Ayton missing a game because his driveway was snowy and he
No
couldn't
way.
he couldn't he couldn't leave his house to go to the game because his driveway was covered in ice. So I kind of love that moment
What?
as well.
That
Uh,
doesn't make any sense.
Well, DeAndre Ayton also had another one where he like came out and said that he hasn't been like sleeping on a bed since he got
I did
traded.
see that. I did see
And
that.
come on, DeAndre, you're
No,
richer
but
than
I'm
I'll
so
ever
confused.
be.
Why can't he Uber to the game? Or like, what's the deal with that?
There seems like there's got to be a way to get to the game, right?
There is no doubt a way he could have gotten to the game, right?
It
Was
must
that
have
like a
been.
big thing? I feel like I didn't see that.
It was like kind of a big thing. It was a while ago. A lot of these moments are kind of old. Like we said, we're kind of coming onto the scene a little late here, but these are just moments that I found memorable.
I feel like no one
Um,
really cares a whole lot about the Trailblazers on a national scale. Sorry, Portland people, but I mean, I like barely. Whenever I hear about Portland, it's like, oh, everybody hates DeAndre Ayton secretly, and it's like, okay,
yeah, Portland fans, I can't imagine you guys are feeling too good about
dude, Scoot's been
anything.
so bad. Scoot's been so bad.
Dude, Scoot's he's been bad, but honestly, going on the vibes thing here, I kind of do like Scoot. I think he's gonna be good.
You're
I'm
a Scoot
not
guy.
I'm not too concerned in Scoot long term. He has all the time in the world out there. I mean, I'm
I'm not a Scoot guy.
my favorite player on the Blazers is Sharp, Shaden Sharp. I think he's a stud muffin.
He's been hurt, hasn't he?
Yeah, something with his. I'm not even sure what the injury is, but I'm pretty sure he even just got ruled out, maybe for the whole year. I
Oh
guess we'll see
man.
on that. Um, but yeah, do you have any favorite moments of the season so far?
Favorite
Or
moments? I have a couple that come to mind.
yeah,
I think it's a little down the middle, but I mean Anthony Edwards putting his nuts in John Collins' face. That's pretty crazy. He fucking concussed John Collins. I mean, bro, it's like
oh yeah,
it's pretty funny. This Struce full quarter. These I feel kind of cheap going for like the lowest hanging fruits, but honestly, these both happen to be games that I was betting on the team that benefited from those plays. So like I was pretty hype about it. Trying to think what else was pretty crazy.
giving somebody a concussion off of a poster is
That's
kind of
nuts.
insane.
That's nuts.
Well, that just made me also think of Anthony Edwards with his block, his chase down block when he missed that
Oh
free
my
throw,
fucking god.
and he
Yeah,
and he hits his head on the rim while he blocks it.
I love Edwards. Should we do a fucking like most annoying moments because I was betting against Anthony Edwards in that moment, and oh my god, I was so fucking annoyed. Like Jesus Christ, bro. He's like, oh, that's the highest I ever jumped. I'm like, oh, nice job, bro. Thanks a lot. Appreciate that. God damn, that was so sick though.
Oh,
I'm surprised he didn't get concussed from that, dude. He's running full speed and slammed his head into the backboard.
it
I'm pretty
probably.
sure he said. I think he said in like the interview after, he's like, yeah, I think I'm concussed. Motherfucker played the next night, back to back. All right.
Well, Anthony Edwards had like a stretch where like he was just dominating the media. Remember, he like pulled up late to the game because of his like baby and.
Yeah, and then left at halftime at one game.
Oh my goodness
Yeah.
gracious!
I speaking of concussions though, I think it's funny because like when you watch the NFL for like, you know, the stretch from like September through January, September through December, no NBA really. Well, you watch a little bit, but whatever. You see like, you know, these guys, they got so many concussion spotters. They get hit hard, you know, like they're getting taken out of the game for a little bit, blue tent, as they should, I think. You know, there's so many stories of people getting long-term CTE. It's terrible. But like you'll watch a NBA game, like some like big fucking center will like, you know, be going up and get like taken down and like slam his head against the back of the court. His ass is staying in the game, bro. And it's like, damn. And I think probably there's less risk in the NBA of like re-injury. You know, you're not like always getting hit, but like I don't know. It's a little. I mean, the standard is definitely a lot lower, don't you think?
Oh, without a doubt. I think the NFL is like kind of fucked up with that. Like your guy will get injured. I know this just from fantasy. My guy will get injured on Sunday. He'll have a noon game out, concussion. I know I'm gonna have him for the next week. Like
Yeah.
guaranteed. Like these guys don't miss more than like a week for a concussion, which is just kind of like mind-boggling to me.
Yeah.
I guess they kind of probably feel cornered in a way where this is how they're gonna make money. Like this is their career, so I think that kind of might mess with them a little bit. But
I think that's
um,
the worst in hockey culture. Like, you ever see the stories like, oh, the Bruins got knocked out of the playoffs. Oh, by the way, Patrice Bergeron was playing with 3 broken legs, and he had, you know, his heart wasn't working right, and he, you know, was like had vertigo. It's like, bro, why are you playing? Like, sit. Like, it's okay. Like, I don't think you're helping much if that's the case anyway. And like, what? Like, you're making millions of dollars regardless. What do you care, bro? And I get
yeah,
it. I get it. It's like, yeah, oh, you love play for the love of the game, and like that's fine. And like to some extent that makes it fun, but also like what are we doing? You know?
oh yeah, hockey players are so tough.
Uh-huh.
That's the vibe that they get, I guess. But it is true. That after every Stanley Cup playoffs, there's always stories that come out. This guy's getting this surgery. This guy's getting that surgery. So I kind of do respect that in a way. Especially me and you. Some former hockey players.
Yeah.
Not
Do
that
you
I
think
was ever half as tough as like any player,
as
but
me?
well. What were you saying though?
I was gonna say, do you think that we're gonna see a paradigm shift in the masculinity in sports with Caleb Williams coming in? Because I'll be damned if I haven't heard the most random people that you would never expect to be talking about it bring up that Caleb Williams painting his nails. What's up with that? It's like
The pink
I didn't
phone
expect you.
case.
Yeah, I didn't think you'd be tuned in like that to the to the NFL prospects, but
You know what
people
else
seem to
is
care
interesting with that is I feel like there's so many more vegan athletes than ever.
for sure. Yeah.
My therapist like brought up how she loves Kyrie Irving randomly
Uh
because
huh.
he's a vegan. And I don't know. I guess there is kind of a paradigm shift coming with that kind of stuff.
Like solely because he's a vegan.
Um, because he's a vegan, because she thinks he's smart.
Uh
She she enjoys like the
oh.
drama with him, I guess you could say.
Enjoys it. He was in some deep water.
Yeah, we don't got to get into the vax
Yeah, we
quite.
don't got to. Well, it was more. It was
Email into
not
the
to.
pod if you guys want to,
Yeah,
get our
email into the
thoughts on the
pod.
vax.
Email us.
If you want to get our thoughts on anything,
Uh
email
huh.
into the pod, guys. Come on, that's what we
But
want
yeah,
this show to be.
do you think if like I think it's inevitable, no matter if he does that well or not. But like if he's like got painted nails during a football game, motherfuckers are going to be talking about it. I
Oh
mean,
my
I saw
gosh.
Cole Beasley, you know, online. He's like, oh, like you guys thought that I would be like for the guy with the painted nails. It's like, come on, like what are you doing?
Cole
Like
Beasley, bro. I hate that player. Oh
same,
my
dude. He's so fucking
god.
annoying.
I've
Such a.
never hated a player more.
Mm-hmm. No,
As
he's
an
annoying as
Eagles
fuck.
fan too, because he was a Cowboy for like a number of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my
Yeah, he was
god.
Cowboy. He was Bills for a bit. I think he's. I
Ended
don't
with
know. He
Texans?
bounces around. Yeah, I was gonna say Texans, but I don't know for sure. But
Yeah, don't
it,
take our word for that. Email into the pod. Let us know where Cole Beasley freaking
yeah,
played his last season.
email us about Cole Beasley, please. But yeah, I mean, I feel like you're gonna get people talking about it, and I think people are gonna get triggered, and I think people are gonna melt down over it. But I think it'll make for good content at least because it's like so innocent. Where it's like, well, is it innocent? It's pretty deeply rooted in like homophobia and like fucking like whatever misogyny, but
Yeah, are you
Yeah, maybe
tapped
I shouldn't
in?
say good. Maybe I shouldn't say good content, but you know,
Well, kind of for a podcast because
yeah.
something to talk about. You're making me think now about painted nails players. You know Jared McCain? He plays for Duke. He's very I don't really know what word I want to use here, but he gets a lot of hate for the painted nails, and
uh,
he's like a big time like TikTok influencer, so he does like all the dances and stuff, and people roast him all the time. But in the flip side, you also see people like, who cares like what he does, like
for sure.
he's hooping.
I
So
also I just think no matter what, if you're like attacking a college person like for anything online, like especially for like sports and shit like that, you're weird and you're a freak. Like they're fucking kids, dude. Like if somebody like if I was famous for whatever reason and people were like, like harassing me online, I would get so like freaked out. Like, bro, like we're fucking like go fucking complain like under Patrick Mahomes fucking I don't know, dude. Like get a life. I don't know. That's how I
well,
feel.
are you prepared for when this podcast is
No, clearly not. Clearly not.
when this is
I
a
had
top
the
podcast, and then all of a sudden our comments are, who are these two jamokes, or dude, we should start a podcast type. I just, I'm ready for the hate, guys.
I
Email at
could
nearthepod.
hardly I could hardly handle the fandom of about 4 concurrent Twitch viewers for like a month. So I can't imagine once this blows up what's going to be happening to me. So we'll I think the
uh,
general point, I guess, is that like I maybe Caleb Williams doing a certain thing doesn't matter. People are gonna find shit to fucking get annoyed at no matter what, you know. There's always gonna
yeah.
be where you can go complain about. I remember when Juju Smith-Schuster used to do like the TikTok shit. People like fucking lost their shit over that.
Oh,
You
Juju
know,
dancing on the logo, center
yeah.
field.
Like
Oh
who
my
gives a fuck,
gosh.
dude?
Yeah, and I kind of like that kind of stuff, but you know, well,
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Do you so getting back to a little bit of how you talk about your personalities, your aura, if you will. I see that word tossed around a lot, aura, in the NBA community.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think this Sixers squad has the aura to make some noise?
See, if I were to just simplify that to contender or pretender with Sixers,
Ah,
I'm going pretender. I'm going pretender.
wow.
I'm not into the Sixers like that. I think they're good. I just don't see it for them. I think Boston's too much of a wagon. I think Milwaukee would beat us, even though I want to beat Doc Rivers more than like anything in the world. But I don't feel good about the Sixers. Do you?
Honestly, I'm kind of talking myself into the Sixers. I was really out on the Sixers for a while because Embiid being hurt is weird. Fucking shit's weird. I mean, when the best player in the league 1 to 2 gets hurt with a serious injury, it's gonna fuck shit up. But like, dude, like he looked decent last night. I mean, I know he subbed out like around like 6 minutes and shit. It seemed like they were being somewhat careful with him, but he ended up playing almost 30 minutes. So it's like I don't know. You probably know better than me if he looked like himself. He was maybe probably missing more than I thought. I didn't see him under the hoop as much as you'd probably expect from him, but also it's not totally his game, right? So I don't know. What do you think he looked right? Because I want your opinion before I give my full opinion.
Yeah, my Embiid evaluation of last night was kind of a good one, actually pretty positive, because I didn't really see him like grabbing his knee too much or looking like very like in pain. I think what was most notable was he just was like so like out of his rhythm and like tired. Like,
Yeah,
but that's kind of a good problem to have coming off like a 2 month absence, like coming.
sure.
So I thought he honestly didn't look too bad, or he didn't look not too worse for the wear, really.
No, I agree, and it's funny you mentioned that about like oh you didn't see him grabbing his knee because one of the perks slash like most annoying thing in the world about having the NBA League Pass is because for these TNT games you can watch it on League Pass, but you have to do it like through like the like backboard camera or like the
Oh
fucking like
yes, yes.
nerd shit. So dude, whenever MB would check out of the game, instead of keeping the camera on the game, they would literally just put it on Embiid at the bench, like for a good like fucking like 2 minutes of game time, bro. And for a second, I was like, God damn it, like I gotta watch the fucking game because like I gotta see what's going on. But like I saw the scoreboard was still there. I saw what was happening. I knew what the score was, and I saw Embiid. For a second, it looked like he was kind of going for his knee, but he wasn't. He didn't. No one was talking to him about
I
it. He
mean,
seemed fine.
he has
So,
that big brace on there, so I did see him like fiddling with that because like I'm sure
uh huh,
that's quite an adjustment for like a player
uh
to
huh.
have like that big ass thing on their leg. But like
Hmm.
pain wise, I just didn't think he like looked like he was in pain at all. So that
No,
was huge for me to see.
I don't.
Honestly, huge.
I
So
don't think
what
so.
are you doing for Sixers? Contender or
Well, okay.
pretender?
I'm going contender, and I'm
Wow.
I'm pretty I'm pretty serious about it. Listen to this. Listen to this. I'm appealing to my numbers people here.
Oh yeah.
So, of 5-man lineups in the NBA this season who have played together for over 200 minutes,
Okay.
the 5-man with the highest net rating by quite a margin, by literally almost, I want not necessarily double, but by quite a margin, is the Philadelphia 76ers with Nicholas Batum, Tobias Harris, Joel Embiid, Melton, and Tyrese Maxey.
Wow.
And it is not close. I think probably the Celtics are going to have them edged if I were to go down to like 4-man rotations and shit, because the Celtics are better, obviously. But I'm cherry picking a stat here, and they look pretty fucking good. That's my cherry pick stat. What do you think about me cherry picking a stat and telling you that they're really good?
So my only pushback, I guess, is D'Anthony Melton. He is like pretty much dead in the water. He
Oh,
hurt
he's
his
done?
Yeah, he hurt his back. So I am assuming that those 200 minutes came early season,
Mm-hmm.
which they were like a top 3 team in the East, and they were like for real. But without Melton, I don't know how much D'Anthony Melton moves the scales
Yeah,
for me.
hold up. It's D'Anthony Melton, bro.
I'm just saying though that lineup in specific, we probably won't even see it in the playoffs this season.
Well, so who is it? Oubre that fills in then?
I think you'll see Oubre. I think you might see Kyle Lowry.
Uh,
Um,
sure.
I don't hate Kyle Lowry. I used to. I used to hate
Yeah,
him. He used to be one of my most hated players, honestly. But I guess he's one of those players you'd love to have him on your team, but like hate playing against him because
yeah.
he's actually really solid. Like we don't really have a ball handler outside of Maxi, and Melton kind of was, but not even. So to have Lowry has been kind of a breath of fresh air for the Sixers. That's
You think
crazy though that
he?
you're going contender with him. I'm actually shocked.
Well, I don't think I honestly think contender is like a pretty easy statement to make. Like contender, yeah. Well, I guess there's nothing above contender. When you say contender, do you mean like really like realistic chance to win the fucking thing, or like
Yeah,
they're
that's
gonna
how
be
I mean.
around?
I think of it as like contender. My list of contenders is not very long.
Yeah, my list of contenders then are like 4 teams long.
Yeah, it would be for me, obviously Boston, Denver. I'd throw Milwaukee into contender, even like with all of like the problems with them this season. I would still
I'm not.
throw them
I'm
in
not doing it.
contender.
I'm not doing it
You're
with
not going.
Milwaukee.
You're not doing
No,
Milwaukee.
fuck no, fuck no,
Well,
fuck
I
no.
like. I still like Milwaukee. Chris Middleton's back. I like them. And
My
I
my
guess that would be it. 3 teams out west. I mean, do you put the Clippers in there?
Clippers are on the edge for me.
Do
I'm
you
still a Clippers
put
guy.
how about one of the like the younger-ish teams like
No,
Thunder or T
no.
Wolves? Yeah, see, I
Oh,
don't see it for them either.
I don't see it. Like maybe OKC could like if the cards fall right for them, but I don't really see it. I mean, I admittedly around the All-Star break was pretty like the West is wide open, but over these last few weeks, Joker sent that fucking text, man, and shit's changed.
It
Shit
is
is
the
different.
Nuggets, dude. They're so good. They just work
Yeah.
so well as a unit. It's kind of insane.
My
Same thing with the Celtics, really. But
Yeah, I'm still a big like Celtics are way better than everybody vibe, and then Denver is way better than everybody else vibe, and then the Clippers aren't trying, and you'll see. But I don't know. That's like my like tinfoil hat NBA take is that the Clippers are actually amazing, and no one knows because they aren't trying. And I shouldn't say no one knows because like they are pretty respected by the market. They have the same like they're like fourth highest odds to win it right now. I think they're like tied with Milwaukee, at
hmm.
like 8-1, way ahead of everybody else, including like they're way ahead of like OKC. Dude, I'm sitting on a Philly ticket 39-1. look, I don't think that they're like a really like, oh, like they're, you know, I think 39-1 for a team that came into the season, I think around 10-1 is insane. I think that Philly's fucking good
Yeah,
with Embiid, bro.
they're a good team. It was a completely different vibe too, with just him being out there.
Uh huh.
Um, because just without him, like we seriously look like a team that should never even like be competitive in a million years. But then
Mm-hmm.
he comes back and we beat the Thunder. I know, yes, they didn't have Shea or J Dub, which with them, like I could almost guarantee a loss. But also, we didn't have Maxi
No
last night.
Maxi, no
Yeah,
Maxi.
so I don't know. I mean, he just really changes the dynamic. I think there's a world where they could like do some damage, but just there's not much reason for optimism like off past years in the playoffs as well. And you know, I guess it just remains to be seen about them. Um, you know, I don't want to do all this on the Sixers because you know I got some heavy bias, but
Sure, yeah, maybe a good time for an ad read here. Pay some bills. Um, have you ever wanted to punch some fucking podcasters in the face? Really just wanted to fucking sling one on them? Well, you should, and you can. The Flameside podcast team will be set up on a rickety wooden stage in Union Square to take a beating from you and your friends at the low price of $20 a swing. Bring your pitchforks and your shovels to teach these two Zoomers a lesson. That's
yeah,
that's how the Flameside podcast there. I think that their socials will be dropped or something in the
yeah.
links.
Use code SIDE for 20%
Side.
off.
Mm-hmm.
You can actually punch me right in the face, which will
Yeah.
be, you know, if you think we're annoying, I guess this is something you should show up to. This might
Sure,
be for
yeah.
you.
And they'll be in New York and yeah, we'll be loving it. I recently moved out to New York. You know, if I could just, you know, if I could do a quick tangent on like moving to New York,
Oh,
it's really
please.
it's really funny because, you know, like I'm a transplant obviously, and like that's the word that gets tossed around here a lot when like you just moved to New York, like motherfuckers don't respect you, so like you got to live here for a while. I saw a tweet that was like making fun of somebody like, oh, they've lived in New York for only 40 months, like what do they have to say? It's like, bro, you live somewhere 40 months, I feel like you kind of fucking know what you're talking about at that point.
Definitely. Have you
What's
been
the
there
what?
40 months though?
Oh, I've only lived here like 6 months, but still, like I know my fucking neighborhood, you know, like the fucking falafel guy knows my name and shit. But like, yeah, it's like there seems to be like a certain threshold, like, oh, you have to have lived here your whole life, or else you can't speak on it, or you must have been fetishizing New York since you were like 4 years old to like have an informed opinion. Like,
It's like the hometown pride, you know. I've lived here my whole life and now all these people come here that don't know what they're doing.
yeah,
I think it's that kind of effect, I guess you could say.
definitely. I always think too, like, do you think with you know globalization and technology, do you think actually living in like cool cities like New York is going to become less of a luxury? Because like I think I read something recently about like, oh, like a bunch of millennials are moving out to the suburbs now because they want to get in a house and things like that. And I wonder because it
Mm,
gets easier than ever not to have to live in a city. You know, you can just fucking hop on the good old Microsoft Teams and shit if you want. But like, you know, what do you think?
I think what will always draw people to the city is like the jobs. So many
Mm-hmm.
like offices and office space and nonsense like that I think will always like draw people to the city. Because my brother right now, he's 26 and lives in the city, and I don't think he would be living in the city if it wasn't for his job. So I think it's like kind of. I don't think you need to live in the city. I don't live in a city. I live in a small little town, and you know, I'm perfectly happy with that. So I
It's
don't.
not. Yeah. I mean, I guess you're right. I mean, it definitely is still a job thing. I think those people who are living in cities mostly for jobs, I think that's going to be getting cut out. I mean, it's tough to say,
Well,
you
yeah,
know.
maybe with remote work.
Yeah, I mean, like shit's definitely getting more remote. It seems like there's a little bit of a push to get people back to like hybrid stuff, which will keep them there. But I also think there's just like a big pull of people to be in cities, like just for the vibes, you know?
For
Like
sure.
that's me. I mean, like I definitely like am attracted to the vibe of like being. I mean, dude, I love being able to get my coffee down the street, things like that. You know, like little small town. You
You
can't be
like
doing
you like
stuff like that.
the bustling energy and like the liveliness of it.
Definitely the liveliness. I mean, like I don't, you know, hustle and bustle can sometimes be a drag for sure. But like it's more so just like being around an area where like shit's happening and you don't gotta get in your goddamn car to get there, you know? Like
Yeah, for
fuck.
sure.
Fuck a
For
car.
sure.
It's
I
so
wish I
annoying.
could not get in my car to go get like anything I want,
I know.
Quick walk.
It
Um,
is nice. I mean, it's just avoiding a drive, avoiding having to like, like plan your day around like, oh, I have to get to this place, Whereas like you're literally basically already at the place if you live in the city that's in, which is nice. So I don't know. It also depends, but I think cities are very, changed drastically based on, like public transportation and shit. Which you being a Philly guy should know. I mean, Philadelphia is like a top 6 city in the country, I'm pretty sure, for public transit. So you're all good there. New York obviously is pretty good, but yeah, it depends for sure. I think living in a city is a lot of fun. I just wonder because like what I was kind of getting into is like prices of shit, like prices of rent. Like, is it gonna go
mhm.
down at some point because like we're fucking people aren't doing it as much, or like you know
You
I don't
see,
know. Is it gonna be
that's a question for somebody that's much smarter than me. Um, but I say it's about time that we get close to wrapping this thing up. What do you say?
sure, sure?
All
I
right, I believe I
we've talked
mentioned it
enough.
earlier in the podcast that we're going to do a Himothy of the Week. I believe I mentioned that
Hmm.
at the beginning. So
I think you
what that's
did.
going to entail, guys, is every week me and Shane are going to bring somebody that we think is Himothy of the Week, and we'll agree on one, but we'll both have a Himothy of the Week,
Hmm.
just our favorite
Hmm.
person of the week. It doesn't even have to be an NBA player. It could be my mom if she did something awesome.
Hmm.
So, do you want to start us off, or do you want me to start off with
Fuck.
my Himothy of the week?
If you've got one, I'd love for you to go first.
So, I'll start my Himothy of the week with Jalen Green. And yes,
Oh my
Jalen
god.
Green this week has not been as good as last week, but this week's only been 2 days, and we were planning on doing this last week, and I've just been dying to talk about Jalen Green. He's Himothy. He's having a kid come on the way, and he's cooking the league, and he's making the Warriors sweat a little bit. So Jalen Green is my
He
Himothy
is.
of the week. He is swaggy, and that is a painted nails player. So
Oh,
so there's a lot of layers to Jalen Green being Himothy of the week.
damn. So triggering the righties and balling like a baller. That's awesome. Love that for Jalen Green. Okay. That's a pretty good Himothy of the
That's my
week.
Himothy.
That's a pretty good Himothy of the week.
Where are you taking your
Um,
Himothy?
fuck. I'm really I'm struggling for one right now, so I'm gonna go to the well that I know is gonna work out well, and maybe play with the audience a little bit. Make sure to vote in the poll below, by the way, of whose Himothy of the week is better. But I'm gonna have to go with my cat Flaubert because every time
Oh,
every time I've been coming home lately, he gives me a nice chirp hello. He does this thing where he'll sit in this desk chair that I'm in, and I don't think he really likes sitting in it that much. I think he just likes the fact that I have to like get him out of the chair, and so I have to interact with him. So he likes to play some fucking games with me, and it's fun. It keeps it lively in here when you got a work from home job that can sometimes drive you a little bananas. It's nice to have a little funny guy around here. So he's my Himothy of the week.
okay, wow.
Hmm.
So yeah, guys, you're gonna be choosing between Jalen Green
Yeah,
and
vote. Email
Flames
us.
Cat and Flames Cat. Um, that's gonna be a heated battle to the end, I
Uh huh.
assume.
Who would win
So
in like a 1v1 hoops? Do you think?
1v1 hoops or your Cat or Jalen?
Uh huh.
Well, well.
I mean, I think Jalen Green kind of struggles in the post defense, so I feel like that could kind of like it definitely matters.
Well, I don't know if your cat has as deep of a bag. I saw Jalen Green hit like a pretty crazy like hanging layup the other day. So
I saw my cat fucking like jump into a laundry basket the other day. So.
all right. You guys decide him. Should we come to a consensus on a Himothy of the week? It's a short week so
um,
far. It's a very short
yeah,
week, so
yeah,
not
short
much
week.
going on.
Yeah, it's been a short week. Fuck. I mean,
Wemby nearly had a quadruple double last
he
night
did.
against
He
the
did.
Joker. He had 9 blocks, eight
That's wild.
eight dimes.
I hate.
That's
This is. We're not gonna get into this right now. I don't want to get into it. I don't want to talk about it. You're gonna get me riled up. I fucking hate the Spurs. I like Wemby, but I fucking hate the
oh
Spurs. That'll be a little teaser for next time, maybe.
yeah,
The
all of
Spurs. If we're
our
talking vibes, bro, I think the Spurs have some of the worst vibes ever. Specifically, fucking Zach Collins. But that's not
oh
neither here
oh
nor
okay,
there.
that I can agree with. But yeah, I guess we'll just leave this week,
Yeah.
triggering those in San Antonio, making them all
Uh-huh.
upset and
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, sorry, San Antonio. Email us.
Yeah,
If you're so
email us
fucking
if you're
triggered.
so. Yeah, oh my
Uh-huh.
gosh. Mm. So, I think that was a very successful first podcast.
For sure. Yeah,
Um,
my shit's blowing up already. Oh, this isn't live, is it?
no, this is live.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, not to a live audience, but it's live.
Okay. So we can still add the
Um,
laugh track.
yeah, we could do a laugh track. Well, we can start like faking a chat next week, acting like there's people like,
Oh.
oh, thank you for the super chat, $10. Thank you so much.
That's gold. That's gold.
No, but for real, guys, thank you so much. Please email into the pod with your burning questions, thoughts. I seriously don't care if you email me about, something in your life that's annoying you, or if you have a NBA take or a NHL take. Seriously, email us about anything you want. We'll pick a few to bring up on the pod every week. This is kind of what I want the pod to be. We'll still, shoot the shit every week, but I really am excited about the email portion of this podcast. So please, send them in. Don't hesitate.
For sure. Yeah, I want to just thank our massive audience. And yeah, definitely email us. And producer Vince, definitely do not fucking put the outro over my voice right now. If you did that. And yeah, thanks everybody. Have a great day.